Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews, and today I want to talk about a really interesting Pokemon leak that has been making the rounds today. This comes from renowned Pokemon leaker RiddlerKhu, who's gotten plenty of things correct in the past, talking about a port or a re-release of some kind on the Switch 2 for the Gen 1 Pokemon games, the Gen 1 Pokemon remakes, from the Game Boy Advance era, Fire Red and Leaf Green. Now, what makes this really interesting is the leaks reporting, and some additional leaks as well from some other reporters, are talking about this being a full retail release and not just a port over to the Nintendo Switch Online. It is not perfectly clear. I believe that Riddler did not specify that they're going to be retail releases, but that is the assertion that's being made right now, is that they will not be online releases, which is why we haven't seen any of the Pokemon games make it to Nintendo Switch Online so far. I think this is really interesting. I think it makes the most sense for Nintendo to want to milk their most iconic property, their most lucrative property for as much money as they can possibly get. And even if they just had ports straight to Nintendo Switch 2 for Fire Red and Leaf Green, I think that would be a slam dunk. I think pretty much everyone would buy them. Everyone's nostalgic for the original Pokemon games. I think Fire Red and Leaf Green are phenomenal remakes of the original games. I love that they really kind of take the Emerald style and they translate really, really well to the original ones. So I think this is pretty cool. I think the biggest thing that we have to see is whether this is going to be a big greedy Nintendo release. Are these going to be $50 a pop and they have two different versions? Are they going to be included on one cartridge? What's going to be the deal here? I don't really know. I would imagine they'd be two separate releases, since that's what they always do. If they were going to give us a combined, they might as well just give us a yellow in the same style as the Fire Red and Leaf Green remakes. But I do think that the biggest question is, how much are they going to cost? If they were like $30, like they were back in the day when Pokemon games came to mobile consoles, I think that would be pretty doable. I would be more okay with that. I don't prefer nearly as much having a game come to Nintendo Switch Online, because if I want to emulate a game, I might as well just do it myself. I don't need to pay for a subscription online to do that. So I'd rather have a retail release. And it's unclear whether this is going to be a port or a remake. It could very well be a remake of Fire Red and Leaf Green, which would be really fantastic. If that's the case, maybe it's going to cost a little more, or maybe it's $50-$60 for each game, which I think would make sense. This makes, Nintendo's going to milk as much money as they possibly can, as much money as they think they can get away with. And of course, Pokemon fans are probably chomping at the bit for a new Pokemon game, even if it is a remake of Gen 1, even if we've already gotten that a few times with even like the Pokemon Go games and stuff like that. But I do think this is interesting because those games are so iconic. If they're just straight ports and they have a retail release and they're pretty inexpensive, especially like the digital versions, I can just get them for $30 a pop. I think this is fairly enticing. A way to play them natively on the Switch 2 sounds really cool. Maybe they up-res it a little bit. Maybe they give us some new areas. Maybe it's a port with some extra content. That would be kind of cool. I do think that would be a value proposition for the consumer there. And I think it would be a really interesting way to revisit Fire Red and Leaf Green. I think that's the best way to experience the original games. I've played Red and Blue back in the day. I really enjoyed them. I thought they were really fun. I remember Pokemon Yellow was probably my favorite of the ones back in the day. I really enjoyed having Pikachu as a little companion. I thought that was really cool as a younger kid. I do love the Pokemon franchise, and I would love to see them make an appearance in some form. But I don't know. I'm a little skeptical that Nintendo's going to probably charge us up the wazoo for this one. And just let me know in the comment section down below. Are you excited about this idea for a port or a potential remake for Fire Red and Leaf Green? Or do you think this is just another scummy business practice from Nintendo? Thank you so much for watching. Now, I'll see you on the next one.